In a world where electric cars are supposed to be, well, boring, quiet, shaped like some sort of kitchen appliance, this is the 2025 Volvo EX30 Twin Motor, and it's actually rather good. So I'm going to test drive it today and see just how good it is. This is Volvo's smallest SUV, small enough in fact to park in places where you would normally find a bicycle, and yet it's the quickest Volvo that they have ever made. At the front, the headlights are shaped like Thor's hammer, with the big Volvo badge in the middle, and the body is tidy and upright. It looks like it's been designed by somebody who definitely irons their socks, and in a world of very aggressive looking SUVs, this one is very calm and relaxed. So under the hood, or at least under the front, is one motor. There's another motor at the back. Combined, they produce 422 horsepower, 400 foot-pounds of torque. That makes this car good for 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds and 0 to 100 in 8.6. It'll do the quarter mile in around 11.6, but that's because it's capped at 114 miles an hour top speed, so it starts to lose a little bit of momentum. Good news is you also get a tiny frunk, room for a couple of sandwiches in there. So that 3.3 seconds to 60 will embarrass quite a few supercars. It's like a cheetah on steroids. Now, because it has all-wheel drive in performance mode, it's very calm and very relaxed. There's no tire smoke, there's no crazy stuff. It just gives you an enormous shove in the back. It's quite light too, 4,189 pounds, which is very light for an EV, but despite its seriously quick acceleration, it's still a Volvo. So it's absolutely packed to the brim with safety tech. Some of it's a little bit annoying. It's a little bit like your Swedish overprotective grandma sitting in the passenger seat telling you not to run with scissors. All right, let's do a quick sound check. Okay, I'm kidding. It doesn't really sound like a chicken. So standard wheels on this one are these Michelins. They're on these 19-inch wheels. You get these sort of aero wheels as well. Pretty good tires, 245 45s all around. Brakes on the front are 12.7 inches and 12.6 on the back. So its Achilles heel is really the battery size. It's tiny, 64 kilowatts, which is a really small battery. Volvo claim it'll get 253 miles on a full tank of electrons, but if you put it in performance mode, expect closer to 160, 170. Charge is okay, 153 kilowatts max. That means going from 10 to 80% should take you around 30 minutes. This car is small. It's about the size of a VW Golf, so you might expect that the trunk is the size of a lunchbox, but it's actually not bad. 14.1 cubic feet. Drop the seats, you get around 34 in total. And then under here you get a Volvo charging cable. Some additional space if you just throw that away and leave it in the garage, because it really isn't worth it. Probably going to take you about 22 hours to charge. So originally, when Volvo was going to bring in the single motor version, it was going to be priced around $35. That is not the case here. This is actually the Ultra model, which is the top one. The base one starts at $46. This one comes out to be about $48,475. It's got everything on it. So you would expect it to be quite small in the back, and it is. The seats are a little bit upright, but they're decently comfortable. I wouldn't want to spend too much time in here. Materials are nice too. You got a little bit of storage right there, and then you can open and close the windows, and a little bit of power, and then this massive panoramic glass roof. It doesn't open, and it's just got tint on it. That's it, no cover. So inside it's very Scandinavian, with very, very clean lines and this recycled denim. Kind of interesting material here, but they are very comfortable, these seats. They've got power, only one control instead of multiple controls, but it controls everything: seat height, tilt, etc. And then because it's very Tesla-like, you can tell where Volvo took their ideas from. There's really nothing in front of the driver except for this annoying driver distraction camera. Everything is in this tablet. So they've just taken away all the buttons except for a couple that are on the steering wheel. So there are some cool design touches. I really like these door handles here, the way these vents have been designed. The wheel is both squared off at the top and here at the bottom. And these are those basic controls that you have right here, and you've got some volume control here as well. You get a couple of stalks. These are the wipers, and then on this side you've got your shifter. One cool feature that I really like is this center console, but you might be asking, where are the cup holders? Well, if you just press that in, 2 cup holders pop out. What if you only have 1 cup? Simply move it 1 slot. Behind there, they've obviously looked at the Volkswagen ID4. You only get 2 controls for the windows, and then you click the button there and it operates the rear, and then these 2 are to lock the doors or unlock the doors. Down here you get a spot to put your phone, or you can move it over here and charge it. Down below you get this really cool spot right here for additional storage space and 2 USBs. Alright, so you've got no choice but to operate everything through here, but it's not bad. It's easy to pair your phone. One of the weird things is you have to, whenever you start the car, you have to press play to make the radio work, which appears to be a little bit odd. The glove box, now where do we think the glove box is? Normally it's over here, but when we press glove box, it's right there. Kind of Volvo quirky. These are your temperature controls. Just click into there and you can play around with that a little bit. You've got to hit fan to get all of the controls: max AC, defroster, auto manual climate off, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it's got a dog mode, so you can hit the start mode if you've got your dog in the car and you need to keep your dog cool. Back to home. Pretty much you've got your maps on here and everything else. Here's the best part. Go into here. Well, it's not the best part. This first page is actually not the best part, because you can also operate the glove box, you operate the trunk, you got to hit things twice to get in here. You got to adjust the mirrors, which hopefully it shouldn't be something that you do all the time, and then here to control the exterior lights. Car status, it says everything is okay. Under settings, you get a whole bunch of stuff, so you can see your charging limits. This one's going to be obviously to 100. You've got system, language, date, time, units, etc. This is the one controls where you can do your display, adjust side mirrors, all that stuff I showed you before. Hit the back button, but this is the one here. This is where you can do a speed limiter if you've got a team that likes to speed too much, time interval to the vehicle ahead, driving dynamics. So it has one pedal drive, but it isn't the most aggressive. Chevys I like because it brings the car to a stop. This simply does not. And then you've got steering feel, which you can't change unless you hit the holy shit button, which is performance all-wheel drive. That prioritizes performance over range, and you no longer get any one-pedal driving. It's all actually pretty slick, even though it is kind of a small display. It'd be nice if it was tilted more towards the driver, but it all works. And then here we've got 86% of battery, gives me 164 miles of range. That means that every time I'm charging it, it's really only giving me about 200 miles of range. This is a gasometer, so if I drove at 40 miles an hour, it would generally recognize that I'm driving much slower and I would use less battery. Therefore, this would then decide, oh, he's got 250 miles of range. But it's not going to work with me, so I simply just charge it up at home overnight, and then I have at least 190 plus miles to use every day. And then finally, there is no stop-start button. So the only way it's on right now, once you get in the car, there are no locks. The key is very sort of Tesla-esque. They've given me the whole thing. So I've got the credit card and then the just this fob. It doesn't have anything on it, no buttons or anything. So once you walk away from the car around 20 feet, everything locks, the mirrors fold, and it still plays music until the car turns off. So it's a little bit disconcerting. I kind of look back over my shoulder and make sure that it's locked, but it works. Let's take it for a drive. Right, off we go here, and oh, so quick. So we are in performance all-wheel drive mode. Onto the 2-lane bit. Oh, so much performance. Now the suspension is quite compliant because it's quite soft. Volvo has obviously designed this for a comfortable ride, which doesn't make it particularly sporty in the turns. Although, we just went through that one at quite a high rate of speed, and it certainly handles itself quite well. And the steering feels quite direct. It does want to understeer just a little bit. You can feel the electronics trying to control everything. Just give it a quick nudge and it just goes. All right, let's see how quickly it takes to get past a person here. Look at that. Just ridiculous mid-range acceleration, ridiculous acceleration across the board from 0 to, well, 114 miles an hour is the maximum speed that it's pegged at. But it is a fun little car to throw around on these paved roads. Another thing, the brakes don't feel particularly weird considering it's an EV. Just stomp on them there and they feel very good. Good pedal feel. They hit at the right moment, they're not too sharp. Really good inputs. Very quiet except for some wind noise around this window, which is always a problem for EVs because they're so quiet anyway. Any tiny little noise, rattle, squeak, in this case I can hear the air whistling by, is going to make itself known. So who knew that this thing would be this quick and actually extremely good on this type of surface, on this type of road, 2-lane highways when you want to have a little bit of fun. Of course, you never get stuck behind somebody that's a bit slower than you because you got this. You can really hustle this car. I'm very surprised. It is quite light too, 4,189 some pounds. So it's nimble. A little bit too fast into that one, but a little dab of the brakes. And it didn't understeer too much. Pretty impressive. Volvo, you have done an incredible job with this, particularly as it was meant to be a kind of an entry-level rear-wheel drive car under 35k. I think it would have been pretty quick even with one motor. And really, honestly, if there's any traffic in front of you, it is very easy to simply scoot by. This thing absolutely scorches past everyone. Can't believe it. And the way it looks, just a simple take your kids to school, go to soccer practice kind of car. Is this insanely fast? So what do we think? Well, this thing is an absolute hoot to drive. I do wish it had more range, but holy crap, is this thing fast. 0 to 60, quicker than it takes to say Swedish meatballs. It's a practical, fun, handles really well, little hatchback, and I really, really like it. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time for another video.